Okay, sorry, let's start. So now, what I want you to do is, I want you to increase first the grid lines so that we have some space for our example. All right. So before we apply that in our model. So what I will do is open the grid line. Okay, open the grid line, and then on the x coordinates, after the 4,000, I want you to type 5 times 5,000, like this one. Okay, so I just added another 5 grid lines into 5 meters. So that one will be our after 4,000 in the x direction. In the x direction, you type 5 into 5,000. So we just added a grid lines so that this one will be our working area. Alright, so to make this one as the working area, again, kindly go to the view. So under the view, you can see this work area, and then under the work area, we're going to use the using 2 points. Using 2 points. So view, work area, using 2 points. Under the view, work area, and then using 2 points. So once you click this using 2 points, okay, so pick from this point to this point, and look what will happen. So we have now the fresh work area. The model that we have created are still there, but it's not included in our working area. Okay, so our work area is only this part, so it's clean up. Okay, so let's start with our let's start adding a column and beam. Okay, so we'll start with a column and beam. So you put a column. Oh, sorry. Select the column, select the standard, okay, and then pick the column here, and then the column here. So I have this column, and then select the beam. Then maybe we type the beam as 400, 600 by 400, and then pick the top of the column, and then you have now the beam. Okay, so if you don't want to use the object representation, just simply change the remember yesterday the object representation, the color and transparency. So just simply select the standard if you don't want to use the color. But if you want, then it's okay. It's your choice here. Just select these objects and then modify. So I don't know if is it okay to you if I use this one? Is it clear, or do you want a vibrant one? This one is okay. All right. Alright, So once you have the column and beam, then let's start with the detailing tools under the edit. So this edit, you can see that there are tools that we're going to use, like polygon cut, line cut, part cut, fit, part, and split. This split I already shown it to you, and then there is a combine, split and combine. So let's start with the fit, part, end. So what is this fit, part, end? So if you put your cursor to the fit, part, end tool, it will explain to you what is this all about. So fit, part, end for the part by creating straight cutting. Okay, so this one is for the straight cutting line between 2 points you pick. So this one is only for the straight cutting. Okay, and then here you can it says that you can use this command to shorten beam. This command is not intended to be used for making considerable beam extension. So meaning this one is to cut. Even though if this one is the beam and then you put a line cut here, the beam will extend. That one is for sure. But it's not meant for that. This one is meant to cut the beam, not to extend. Even though it can be done, but it's recommended that this one is for to cut the beam. Okay. All right. So now I think this is one of the case that it's easier to use in a plain view. Okay. But even though I think this one can be used on the 3D, but this is one of the case that you need to select the beam. Remember yesterday, I wanted to create the basic view of the beam. Okay, so we need to create the basic view of the beam. Right click and then create view, 3D view of part. So it will create this view, and then if I type Control P, right, this one will be the front view, and then this is the time that we can use the fit, part, end. So look, if I click this fit, part, end, pick the part to be fitted. So what is the part to be fitted? The beam should be fitted to the column surface. So select the beam and then pick 1 and then 2. So if you notice here, I need to pick on this line, anywhere in this line. Doesn't need to be on the end. Okay, so anywhere in this line, if I click this one, so look what will happen. Okay, I'll put it transparent so that you can see. So you can see the beam is here. The beam, if I click this one, so now the beam, the beam is already cut to the surface where you fit. Okay, again, let me repeat. Undo. Okay. Yeah, sorry. So undo. All right. So again, pick the beam. Now this time, if I click this beam, look what will happen. Object not found. Why? Because it's transparent. This is what I'm telling you yesterday. If it is transparent, you cannot just click on the surface of the beam, but you need to click on the edge. So click on the edge. And then 1, 2. The other way is this. You change this one to solid, Control 4, okay? So pick the beam. I can pick anywhere, and then Control 2, and then pick 1, 2. So if you learn how to use the Control 2, and then Control 4 in the middle of the command, then that will be great, because you can interchange the view mode. Okay, so no need for you to, sometimes it's difficult to pick the edge of the element, so you need to change it to Control 4, solid, and then while picking, you can change it to Control 2. Okay, so kindly do that one, and we will have the actually this one is a practical application of that. This one is already a practical application. So meaning you cut the beam to the surface of the column. Okay, so I hope it will not take much time on that one. So we'll continue. Okay, on the other side of the beam, okay, same thing. Okay, on this other side. By the way, before I continue on this one, if you notice here, it's just a line here, right? It's just a line. But if you want to have something like if you want to see the clashing, okay, if you want to see the clashing, there is an option here under the settings, this direct X rendering. So this direct X rendering, something like there's a little bit of the shading on your element. Okay, like a little bit of shadowing. But again, if you have a huge model, then I will not recommend you to use this one, because this one eats some of your memory. But for the small model, then should be okay. Alright, so let's try. If I click this direct X rendering, okay, turn it on and then close the view and then create again a view for the okay, look at the difference. Can you see the difference? So the left side is the one with the direct X rendering. You can see the line, you can see the edge. It's much more bolder, right? This side, okay, look. This side, look at the line here. It's very thin. This one, direct X rendering, this one becomes more firm. But again, it's your choice. And here, you can easily identify if there is a collision, or if the beam is not yet cut. Okay? So it's very clear identification here in the direct X rendering. Right? So again, that one is it's an option. So it's your choice whether you want to use the direct X rendering or not to use it. Okay? So at the moment, I will turn it off again so that it will be much more faster for us. Okay, so again, create the 3D view of parts, and then here from the left, on the left side, on our left side, then this time I'm going to use the line cut. Okay, what is line cut? Line cut object with line. So cut an object with cutting line to modify the shape of the object. Use the command to shape part in addition to fitting or to cut the rebar set. So this one is to cut the rebar set. So this one is in addition to fitting. Yes.
You already finished the other one, right? You already finished the fit part and.
Yes.
I had a question regarding that. When you cut, when I look in 3D
Yeah.
That one's gonna stay.
Yes, that one is the line cut. But if you don't want to see that one in your 3D model, of course that one is, especially if you have a lot of cuts in your model, that's annoying.
Yeah, correct.
Yes, all right, no worry. Because this is the one that you're talking about, right?
Yeah, correct.
If you redraw, it's still there, right? But if you open the view properties and then go to the display, so these are the display of what you want to see and what you don't want to see. If you look onto the cuts and fittings here, cuts and fittings, just uncheck the cuts and fittings, the cuts and fittings, uncheck that one, and then modify, then it will vanish.
But mine is already unchecked.
Uncheck, you modify, click modify, and then redraw. Okay, so sometimes it depends, maybe you uncheck on this view, but on the other view it's checked. Okay, because this view properties is per view, not as a general. So be careful on that one. So sometimes, hey, why this one is still appearing, but it's already unchecked. But check again the view properties. Okay, so let's go back to the to this view. If you want to interchange your view, okay, look, I'm looking at the part view of the beam. Then if you want to look onto the 3D view, this one, so you can interchange the view by pressing Control Tab. So Control Tab, it's interchange the view. If you have 4 views, then it will, of course, it will change from one view to another view. Okay, so this time we are going to use the line cut. Like it says, this one is the to create the shape in addition to fitting. Because the fitting has the limitation, then the line cut will complement the fitting. Okay, so if I click this line cut, look what will happen. Line cut. So again, same thing. Fit the select the object to be cut. So what is the object to be cut? The beam. And then pick the point on cutting line. So Control 2. So this one is the cutting line. 1, 2. Okay, look. If I click 1, 2, unlike the fitting, automatically it will cut the smaller part. This time, it will ask us to pick the side to remove. So you need to decide which one to remove, the left side or the right side. Here, I can click on the right side and then it will remove the bigger part. Right? So, but of course, I can click 1, 2, and then pick the smaller part. So again, you will have this symbol.
So both commands is doing the same thing.
Yes, but again, there is some there is a difference. There is a difference. I will tell you later. So just do this one now. Then the next part, I will show you what is the difference between the two. Okay? Okay, once you finish that one, finally do this one. So I want you to have a pointed beam. Okay? You can try You can try the fitting, you can try the line cut, you can try both. And let me know what is the outcome. You already know the outcome of that one, but for the others, what will be the outcome if I use both fittings? So meaning, line cut, you need to cut this one, cut, and then cut using the line cut or fitting. Okay? So you use both fitting, or you use both line cut, or you combine the two. So check what will be the outcome. Okay?
gumawa ulit ako ng bago. So, niredraw ko lang para matanggal. Pero hindi ko rin siya natatanggal. Ay, ito na.
Parts and fittings kasi.
Dapat dalawa.
Oo. Kasi yung sa fittings lang, di ba? Yung sa parts and fittings.
Ito yung fittings.
Yan yung fittings at yung part.
Oo.
Kasi kung pwede rin na part na, pwede yung polygon cut, yun yung sa part. Yun yun. Yan. Yan yun. Ngayon yung fittings. Naging isa yan sa fittings.
Okay.
Okay, so let's continue. Now, all right. So, if you look onto this beam, I already hide the cuts and fittings, right? But sometimes, hey, I want to remove these cuts. This is wrong, so I want to remove these cuts. Then suddenly, if you want to remove the cut, then the cuts and fittings are gone because you remove that one on the display. So what you need to do is go back to the display, and then click this one and then modify. So I will give you the trick so that it will appear immediately, but something like temporarily. So what you need to do is this. Just simply select the beam, delete, and then Control Z. Right? So when you delete the beam and then you undo, I mean there's no any modification there. You just simply delete and then undo. Then it's still intact. And then the cuts and fitting will appear. And then you can now delete these cuts and fittings. See? Now, going back to our example earlier. So look, if I use the fit part end twice, look what will happen. So one, so click, then one, and then two, and then look again, one, and then two. What will happen? This is if you use the fit part end twice, because fit part end something like it stretches to that line. Okay, so meaning it's not possible to use both fit part end to this kind of example. Okay, but if I use line cut, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, so that one is possible, 2 line cut. Or else you can use the combination of the fit part end and the line cut. So fit part end, so 1, and then line cut, so that one is possible. Okay, another thing that it's impossible to do using the fit part end is, let's say this column, I want to slice the column. Look at this, huh? So fit part end, so look, select the column and then I'm going to slice the column here, vertically. Nothing happens. But let's try the line cut. Line cut. So I'm going to slice this column and then select the side to remove. Then it works. So that's another thing what you can do and cannot do with the fittings and then the line cut. Okay? So remember that one. That one will be useful for you later once you have some shapes that you need to create. Okay, so now let's have a practical application of another practical application of the fittings. Okay. All right. So in this column, I just closed the beam view. So in this column, I want you to, alright, so this one will be your exercise. Since you know already how to deal with the steel. Okay, so, yes. Okay. So in the column, so you have this column. Now, what I want you to do is to add a pipe, grout tube, okay, grout tube. So the grout tube must be something like this. Okay, and then the node will be here. This is the node, this is the node, and this is the node of your grout tube. So this grout tube must be PD, or the diameter of this one is, let's say, 50, and then the thickness is 3. Okay, so what you need to do is this. The profile is PD, pipe diameter 50 by 3. Okay, and then for the dimensions, so here, this one, this and this, let's say 400, and then let's say this one is 75, and this one is also 75. So meaning this one is something like a 45 degrees. All right. Now, how we are going to use the fitting? So the fitting must be used here. This one is the fitting. You can try to use the fitting and the line cut here. Line cut. So check which one is really useful for this grout tube, the fitting or the line cut. Okay. Now I want you to use the steel here. How to create this one? Using the poly beam of the steel. So under the here, under the steel, use this beam, poly beam. So click this poly beam and then here type PD 50 by 3. And then click 1, 2, 3, middle button of your mouse, then you have now the pipe. And make it sure that your the rotation here, the depth here must be middle and then middle. On plane and depth will be middle, so that your handle will be at the center. Okay? Because if you put behind, then the handle will be on the edge. Okay? So kindly try that one.
What material should be the grout tube?
Steel.
S275?
Yeah, any steel material. You can choose any steel material. Yep. This one will be fixed. The problem with the control and then the controls. If you zoom, it's something. Even if you put it on the view area, that one also happens. So, but okay, yeah, you can also do that also. Which view? This one is the part basically of what column or because that's one. You can create the part basically of the column. But in that case, then what I would suggest is just control R, click here, and then see that one will, and you don't need to use that one. So you will move it. Another way is you click this one, but this big is it's the same thing. If you want, you can disable that automatic control. Then it's the automatic representation. So if you click on this one, remove this one. So let's say you need to place it on first here. Because here, so that's the catch. If you're used to the way of automatic rotation, then it's okay. But sometimes there's some issue there. There's two choices. You disable, press B or control R. Control R is something that it will be good if this one is on. Where it is on. So you can use the control R instead. Control R. Yeah. So you have many choices to deal with that. Yo. Who's asking? Yeah. Because you don't pick any position, and also your snapping tools. no. So meaning, okay, look, and also this one is not the correct position of the path. So the correct position of the path is you can create use and then here look for the position. So from here, ready. This part and here. But again, you must put in the correct dimension, the 45 degrees, like what I put here in the board. Okay, so do you want to have a break first before we continue? Coffee break? Yep. For this case, if you can see here that I put four grout tube, right? So you create one, and then you copy, and then you copy mirror. So that's how you do it. Okay, so let me just show it to you from here. Okay, look. First, I need to create 3D views of part, or views of part, or 3D view of part. Okay, so let's say views of part. So from here, I will select one of the side view here, this one, and then control 2. So to get this 75 and then this 400 and then 75, I can use a construction point or a construction line. Okay, so I will give you I will show you a different way on how to add this what do you call that, this particular measurement. Okay, how we can get the reference for this measurement. Let's say 75, 400, and 75. Okay, so the first one is using the construction point. Okay, so I'm going to add a construction point here. So from the edit, okay, edit points. So you can see here there are different construction points here. The first one that I'm going to use is the along extension of 2 points. Along extension of 2 points. So look, if I click this along extension of 2 points, it will give me this distance, and then let's say 75. Okay, I type 75, apply. Now, I have one issue here because I don't have a reference, because the 75 must be from this point to this point, right? So, but this construction point, I need to have a reference line from this this point. I need to have a reference line here, but it stops here. I don't have any reference here, right? Again, the 75 must be from this point to this point. So look, using this construction point, along extension of 2 points. So if I click anywhere here on this line, 1 and then 2, remember the second point, if I click this one, look what will happen. So the offset will be on the second point. That's why it's very important to pick the second point, because the offset of 75 will start only on the second pick point. Remember that one. So look, where is my 75? From this point to this point. Now what should I do to get the 75 here? Since I have the point there, I can pick that one. 1 and then 2. So now my 75 will be inside. Okay? So that's one way. The other way, without adding 2 points, I can just simply type here negative 75. If I type negative 75, apply, and then pick here. So from this point, anywhere on this line, I pick anywhere on this line, and then pick the second point. What will happen? It will go back because it's negative. So again, in Tekla structure, it's about positive and negative value. Positive moving forward, negative backward. Going up, positive, going down, negative. Okay? So if I click on this one, then I have now the 75 here. Okay? So I have my first point. Now, 400 and then 75 again. So I can use the next construction point, which is parallel to 2 points. Parallel to 2 points. So if I click on this parallel, means parallel to 2 points, meaning I'm going to offset these 2 points. So from here, offset. So if I click on this one, same thing, same box that I will get here, but I will type 400, but the offset I want 475. So similar thing in grid line. If we put space, then that's another value. So if I type 400 space 75, so what will happen? It will offset 400, and then from 400, 75. It's a relative value again. Okay? So apply. So look what will happen. Look at the arrow. So means going up. So if I click here, so now I have the 75 here. This one, 400, and then this one is 75. Alright? Clear? Now, if I type negative 400, so meaning if my arrow is going up, then it will go down. Okay, so remember that one. So now I have the points that I can use for my grout tube. So going back to my steel, okay, going back to my steel beam, poly beam. So here you type here grout tube, and then you type here PD 50 by 3. PD 50 by 3, or you can go to this you can go to the library and then look for the here circular hollow section. You can see here PD. So PD, you just type here 50, and then the thickness is 3. Same thing. Okay, and then apply, and okay. So here PD 50 by 3. So let's say I change it to color 2, and then middle. So look, so 1, 2, and then 3, and then middle button of your mouse, and there you go. Okay, I said 2. Okay. All right. So now the next thing to do is I'm going to edit fit part end. So I'm going to show you what is the if I click line cut, look what will happen. That's wrong. Okay, undo. So fit part end, select this one, and then there you go. So it will flash to the surface. So that's the use of the fit part end. Okay, are we clear with this one? You want to try the construction point, or okay, try the construction point first, and then we will continue on how to okay, after you try the construction point, I will give you another way of modeling the grout tube without using construction point. Okay, so try that one first, so at least you have a different way on doing these things. Show you how to add this grout tube exactly on the same dimension without using the construction point. Okay, so that one is much easier, but this one you need to make it sure that you know how to do it. Okay, so again, go to this steel poly beam. So I have the same thing. Okay, so now look, if I click on this one, if I click here, that is the first peak point of my tube, correct? But I don't want to pick on this one. I want to pick on the 75 mark. So what I will do is, before I click on this one, I need to press my control key, control, and then click. So look, it's there is a peak point there, but pressing the control before you click means that one will be a dummy peak point. It's not exactly the position of our first point of the grout tube. So it's just a dummy for reference. So from this point, I need to put my cursor straight to the right side and then look for the 75 mark. Correct? Now, this 75 is the start of my grout tube, correct? So I need to click on this one without pressing the control key. So if I click on this, then there you go. So that one is the first peak point. So now I move up and then look for the 400 mark here, and then click. Right? and then move here 75. But this one, if I click here without pressing the control key, then my grout tube will be 90 degrees bend here. But I need 45 degrees, correct? So I need to click here, but I need to press the control key and then click and then go up and then 75 again. Zoom in and then 75 and click. So you will notice, okay, you will notice that there is a red line. There is a red line. Did you notice this one? Red line, red line, red line. So that red line indicates that it is from the dummy pick point. Then the white line, meaning that is your, yes, that will be the shape of your grout tube. So if the white line is straight here, and then white line here, and then there is a white line there, then your grout tube is something like that, something like different shape. Okay, now I press the middle button of my mouse, and that's it. Do you want me to repeat one more time? Okay. Beam, poly beam. Okay, here, control and click. Look for 75. If you cannot look, if you cannot see the 75, you zoom in. Zoom in, and then click here. Then there's a red line, and then look for 400. Click, and then here, or I can click also here. 75, and then this one. It's the same. That one is the same, huh? And then edit, fit part end, and that's it. So you have the same output. So is it easier? Yeah. Okay. So but be careful on the pick point, because sometimes when you thought that you pick the control, which is not supposed to pick, then there will be a distortion on your item. Okay, so now let us continue on this one. Let me delete one. Okay, so this one now is we're going to place it to the proper position. Like here, we have four grout tube. Okay, so in this case, I can close this view and then I can go to the top view. All right, top view. So this is the top view. So in the top view, if you notice here, I need also 75 from this edge. So what I will do is I'm going to measure this. So 200. So to put that one on the 75 mark from the bottom, so I need to move 125, correct? So all I have to do is to select this one, right click, and then move 125. So if you want to have an exact 125, if you don't want to look onto the numeric value here, you can just simply you put your what do you call that? This line or your cursor straight down. Make it sure that it's straight down, and then you from your keyboard just simply type 125. No other command, but just simply type 125. You can see that there will be a numeric location there. Just enter, and it will be placed in 125. And then after that, you can just simply again copy. So copy this one. You can copy linear if you like, or just simply copy if you know the value. So if I simply copy this one, so what will be it will be 250, right? 250. So there, and then select this. Okay, before I select this one, okay, I also want you to know that okay, actually you don't need to copy the points. Okay, you don't need to copy the points. The purpose of the points already, we use already the points. Then you can just simply delete that one if you like. Now, look, this one is very important thing to know, that the item that you have created must be part of the CAS unit or part of the assembly, because at the moment the column and the grout tube are two separate entity. Okay, the grout tube, even though you can see that that one is inside the column, but the grout tube is still not yet part of the column. Remember that one. Why? Look, if I select the column and then right click on it and then inquire CAS unit, okay, so look, this is the details of the column, of the CAS unit column. This is the detail. If you notice here, the quantity, I have one column there. Now, how we are going to add the grout tube inside this column? How to add the grout tube inside the column? So look, if I close this one and then select one of the grout tube, right click. So if you select the grout tube, if it is a steel, okay, remember, if it is a steel, and then you right click on it, you can see here, sorry, I forgot to change this one to steel, S275. Okay, all right. Since this one is a steel, if you select the grout tube, steel grout tube, right click, so you can see here assembly at the bottom, assembly. If it is a steel material, you can see assembly. If it is a concrete material, it is a CAS unit. Cast unit. Because actually it's just a terminology between the steel and concrete, but it's the same thing. Okay, it's just an assembly. Okay, because in steel we call it as assembly, in concrete we call it as a CAS unit, but it's the same. So now if it is a steel, you can see add to assembly. So if I click here, add to assembly, and then click the concrete, look what will happen. So now, create a concrete steel cannot be added in the same assembly level. Yeah, because you're combining steel and concrete, but it's okay. You just simply click yes. And there you go. So look, if I select now the column and right click on it, inquire, cast unit, look what will happen. I have now one column. Inside the column, I have one grout tube. One grout tube. Why one grout tube? Because I only added one. Okay, again, I'm going to repeat. So select the grout tube. I select the other grout tube. Select the grout tube, right click, and then add to assembly. And there you go. So look, if I inquire cast unit, so look what will happen. One column, two grout tube. So meaning the two grout tube is already part of the column. Now, you also remember that when I copy the grout tube, right, the one that I copy is not yet added to the column. That's the reason why I need to add that one by one. But in case that you have many grout tube, before you copy, you add it to the column, so that when you copy it to the other place, then it will be part of the column already. So like this one. So the grout tube are already part of the column, right? So if I select the grout tube and then copy mirror, so copy mirror here, copy, there you go. So now let's check the column, inquire, cast unit. The quantity of the grout tube of the column, yes, the quantity of the grout tube in the column are 4. I don't need to add again because before I copy, before I mirror the two grout tube, it's already added as a in a cast unit. So when you copy that one, then it will still remain part of the column. So in case that you have some grout tube, then remember that before you copy, make it sure that it's already part of the elements or the cast unit, so that you don't need to copy it again one by one. Okay, so that's how we add the cast. Add the elements in the cast unit. All right. So now, any question on this? So we have already the grout tube in the column. Okay. Now, what if I want to copy this grout tube to another column? This one, this grout tube, I want to add to the other column. So all you have to do is this. You can select by window. Okay, select by window, and then right click on it. Right click. You can see here, copy to another object. Copy to another object. So meaning, if I click copy to another object, then it will tell us pick the source object. What is the source object? This column. And then pick the destination object. What is the destination object? So the other column. There you go.
Exactly the same.
Yes. Especially if these two columns are exactly the identical column. Yeah.
Will it be part of the sample?
Pardon?
Will the column now the copy over? Right? Will the grout tube automatically be part of the sample?
We need to check. It should be. So inquire, cast unit. Yes. Automatically part of the assembly.
That is if I already set it as part of cast unit.
Before you copy. Yes, before you copy. Okay, so the next one. So, can we continue? Okay, so the next one is, we already done the pit, part, and line cut. The next one is the part cut. Part cut. So, what is part cut? Okay, again, if you go to the steel beam, and then let's say poly beam. So here, let's say I'll put a D200, or let's say D150. Okay, I put D150, and then here, click anywhere here, 1, 2, and then 3, middle button of mouse. So I just create just a random tube here, and then let's say I'll change this one, a rounding to, let's say 200, something like this, or maybe 300, yeah? Okay. So, let's say this one is a tube passing through the beam. So, when the tube passes through the beam, there should be a hole. And the hole must be the same shape as the tube. Alright? So, what I need to do is, to cut the beam, I need to use the part cut. So, if I click the part cut, select the part cut, and then here, select the part cut, select the object to be cut. So which one to be cut? The beam. Select the cutting part, the tube, and that's it. So if I select the tube and then right click and then hide. So look, I have now the Control 2, so I have already the cut, or maybe Control 4 is much better, cut. Now, of course, you cannot insert the tube if that one is exactly the same size. So what I will do is select the cut. When you select the cut is also an element, but it's an anti-material to cut the material, right? But it's still an element. So here, you look onto to this side, you can see that D150. So maybe I'm going to use, let's say, if I want to put 50 millimeter clearance on the side of the tube, so I need to put 250, right? And then enter. There you go. And then you redraw, and there you go. So you will notice that the cut also vanished. Why? Because in my display, it's off. But if you turn on this one, modify, so it will come back. Okay? Yes.
Construction-wise, the opening is usually bigger.
It depends. It depends. Sometimes.
Like waterproofing or something, right?
Yeah.
Space, but how do you know? Like roughly.
I'm not sure about the standard spacing or the clearance that they use. Yeah, in the construction. Yeah.
But it's usually bigger, right?
Yeah, it's usually bigger, yes. So there will be a, but again, in this kind of situation, this one is difficult to insert if you have a smaller one because of the curve. Yeah. So meaning, in this case, they put the tube during the casting. Then they something like that. So it depends. But if that one is the straight one, then they must have. I don't know if 2 or 5 millimeter erection clearance so that they can insert. Yeah. So okay, so kindly try this one. So as you can see here, you have now the pipe. Okay. Okay, so let's continue with the with our polygon cut. Okay, so polygon cut. So this one is something like if you want to reshape your concrete or any elements in Tekla structure, then polygon cut is the it can do a lot of things. Okay, this polygon cut. Okay. If you pick on this polygon cut, select this polygon cut, and again, as always, the first move is select the object to be cut. So the object to be cut is the beam. And then polygon cut means you can click on any shape. So let's say here, I'm going to click 1, so 200, 250, and then 500. So I have the opening of this polygon cut. Now, what if I want this polygon cut to be circle? So, easy. I can just simply click a square one. So, click here, 1. So, let's say 150 by 150 by 150, and then middle button of your mouse, and then select this one, select. Change this one to arc point, modify, change this one to arc point, and then modify, then I have a circle opening. So, for the polygon cut, any shape, let's say for example, you want to have a different shape, so let's say here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, so you can have a different shape, or maybe I can make it like this one, yeah, and then this one you can change arc point, so you have the shape. So that's the polygon cut. So any shape, you just pick the polygon point, then you can create any shape. So this, as I've told you, you can do a lot of things in the polygon cut. Now, if you go back to our, if I fit work area, and then go back to our this one, to our slab or foundation here. Remember, this one has the opening. Okay, so what I will do is I'm going to turn on my see, I turn on my what do you call that, the reference, Control P, and then from here, so select the polygon cut, pick the part to cut, why not found? Yeah, and then Control P. So here I can just simply click on this position. So that one is 199. It should be 2000, and then here 4000, 2000, and then middle button of your mouse. Then here. So that's the good thing if you have a reference. You can snap, even though that one is a third-party element, then you can snap on that one. And for the collaboration, if we have an IFC, and then we bring it inside Tekla structure. IFC is also a 3D, right? Let's say you have the IFC MEP, and then passing through the beam in Tekla structure. Even though that one is IFC, let's say from Revit, you can do the class checking between the IFC and Tekla structure element. It will highlight to you if that one is clashing, as well as the drawing, even though it's a third party. Okay, so kindly try that one. And then, yeah, so we have already discussed this fit part end, part cut, line cut, polygon cut, and then even split yesterday, right? We create the split. So combine is just combining the two. That's all. So kindly try that one, and then I'm going to give you now the what do you call that, the exercise. We're going to create a base plate for our column, steel column, base plate. And then okay, let's see what we're going to do with this base plate. Right? So here, what I will do is I need to extract one of the column. Okay, right click and then create 3D views of part for this column. So now I have views of part. So I'm going to start with my top view. So with this top view, Control 2. So you will notice that when I create this one, there's a lot of there's some elements included in the creating of my views, right? So like what I told you, you can always hide the others so that it will be clear for you. Okay, so in this case, so look, my base plate is, the thickness is 25. So I'm going to use my contour plate, which is this one, plate. So select this plate. So once you select this steel plate, so that's the size is PLT 25, right? And then let's say the class number is 2. So what I will do is maybe I'll change the I'll change this one to standard. Yeah. So the class number, again, P25, PL25, 2, and then here, I will decide this one later, if it is middle or, so I will click, because that one is already on the edge of the column, right? So it's easy. So click 1, 2, 3, 4, and then middle button of your mouse. So now I have the base plate there. But the position, still I don't know. Because on the top view, you don't know what is the position there. So you need to make it, rotate it so that you can see. Now, I need to make it sure that this one is going front, modify. Okay? So once it's front, you can go to the other view here. This one. Alright? So, fittings. So I need to cut the column according to the height of the plate. So, edit, fit, part end, select the column, and then there you go. So now, the column, if you inquire assembly, it's only column. I need to attach the plate to the column by means of what? Welding. Right? It's structural steel, so you need to weld that one. So, under the steel, you can see here welding. So there's a lot of different types of welding here. Okay, we'll choose the first one, create weld between the parts. So if I click this weld, select the column, main part, and then the plate, and you can see that that one is the welding symbol. This welding symbol, I can change the position of the welding symbol here. Y, X, let's say Z, modify, so you can change that one, or let's say X, modify, so you can change the position. Because the welding to the planche could be different from the welding to the web because of the thickness, right? But at the moment, we'll just put one welding there so that we know that the base plate is attached to the column. So if we check the column and then inquire assembly, what will happen? I have now, hey, why this one is concrete? Sorry, this one must be steel column. This one is, yeah, Okay, I don't know why. Anyway, here, the assembly, as you can see here, you have one piece of one piece of UC 305 by 305, and then one piece of the plate, which is attached to the column by means of welding. Okay, next is this one is that view, the first view. Now I will go to the second view here. On the second view, so I need to open this view, the web view. So on this web view, I will go back to my plate again, and then this time I will choose pen, and then this one is middle. All right, maybe I'll change the color here, and then look. So 200. I can put 25 here because there's a 25, but I can make also again. So 1, 2, so that one is 194, and then this one is 200. So I can check the 294 here, 194, enter, and then middle button of your mouse. So that one is my plate, but I have the cutting here. So no need for you to do the cutting. Why? Because here, if I select the handle and then select the line, the chamfer, so what will be the case of X here? So if I type here 100, and then let's say this one is 150, let's see. So meaning this one is 150, so meaning if 194 less 25, it should be 169. So this one will be 169, and then this one is 175. Get it? Or you can just simply select, you can just simply click here 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, control, and then middle button of your mouse. That's the same output. And then add weld, select this one, and then select this one. And now, as you can see here, inquire assembly. So you can have two pieces of plate 10 by 194 and one piece of plate 25 by 400 by 400. And there you go. So you have now the stiffener. Clear? Okay, now let's move on to this one. I will create one, and then you will continue for the rest. Huh? So I will create one anchor rod. Okay? So to create the anchor rod, I need to go to the first view. This one. Sorry. Yeah, here. Okay, so for the anchor rod, select the poly beam, and here let's say anchor, and then let's say this one is D20. Okay, D20, and then here middle, it's okay. And now the position, so it says that one 200 from the middle. So meaning from the center, 200 means 100 from the center, right? So from the center, I will press Control and then 100. Okay? Should I click or I need to press Control? Control and click. Why? Because the first pick is here, not here. Right? So remember that one. So from here, I need to click here 100. Oh, 100 is too big. Anyway, maybe we'll put 50 only. Just change that one to 50. 50, and then, so that one is my first pick. But here, if you notice, 300 is from the bottom of the base plate. Correct? So I cannot simply click here, 300 here. No. So I need to click here, and control. Control. It's a little bit confusing, but if you learn that one, then that will be easier. So 300, and then here, I think that one I need to change. So let's say I'll put here 80 only, and then middle button of your mouse. See? So here, just change this one to rounding, maybe 25, and there you go. So you have now the anchor rod. So we change this one to 50 and then this one to 80. So here, this one is 80 and then this one is 50. Okay, and then after that, I can now add the this nut. Okay, the nut is also, because I cannot use at the moment the actual nut, so I will just put a dummy nut. Okay, anyway, when you put that one in the bill of material, you just put the nut and then the rod. Okay, so I will use the beam, and then I'll type here nut, and then here, let's say instead of D20, I'll put D40. Okay, so from here, one control, so one, sorry. Okay, sorry. Okay, 1, and then let's say 20. So that one will be your nut. Okay, and then again, weld, and weld also the nut. So from the top view, you must move this one, move 100 here, and then copy 200 here, and then select, right click, copy, mirror, and now if you inquire the assembly here, so you can see now all the information there. Alright, so now you may continue on creating this one. So if you have any question, if you want me to repeat something, then just let me know. Alright.